In every franchise, there are always characters that just start the background have names, at least until recently, and Transformers is no exception to this, but then mainly due to it being primarily a toy brand. And today we're talking about one of the earliest examples who briefly appeared in G1 cartoon, was part of the first year of the brand, Skids. So, it's been a long ass time since Skids had a generation figure, since 2013 actually, and the cover was based on the current comics design from IDW, which is also where he had the largest role in the current in the modern day. Anyway, because of that, most of his fans that wanted a proper G1 update had to wait even more, but eventually they got their own wish. In 2021, a Masterpiece figure was released, which I might get someday or at least as redos, and a year later we got this guy, Legacy Year 1 Skids. Now, before we move on and start talking about the figure, I want to see if this figure could also be a good contender for a first time modern day Chuck figure for beginners. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at him. So Skids arrives as with a cartoon accurate bot mode, except for the soldiers, which are more accurate. The toys as a tire oil had tires as the soldiers. If you want to emulate the look, just turn around the soldiers, and there you go. The same thing is on the Masterpiece figure, but it might be locked in place. Now, Skids is the usual Autobot car configuration, or the generic car robot aesthetic, which is the hood as the chest, the back of the car as the legs, and the door wings. If he were the Transformers character, it would be bootleg. Now, this is something the most of the G1 Autobots have, but the one thing that makes them more interesting is the presentation of the face or decals of the car. But Skids doesn't have that. In fact, the head face is stuck on a piece of plastic closer to the hood, and it's pretty much generic. Arms are generic, like legit. The only thing that makes him unique is these legs that look like books, which makes him similar to Hot Rodimus actually. You learn something new every day. Now, be careful with the clear plastic on it, which are the entire backpack. God, please don't disintegrate on me. And the door wings are painted pretty well, but I wish the color wasn't this dark. Maybe do it as a normal blue, but it's supposed to be toy accurate, so whatever. I kind of wish they made them as a cartoon accurate deco. I think that's what the masterpiece is going for. Anyway, if you want that cartoon deco, just get the masterpiece. It's not even that expensive a lot, which, thank goodness. So the red stripe is almost so painted well, and I don't see any paint chipping at soft right now, but that might change if I play around with it or over time. But one thing that will probably chip a lot is the ears and ties, which are silver, and yeah, these are the parts where if you're gonna post them a lot, these will chip a lot. So be careful. Now let's take a look at what he got. In terms of accessory, it comes with two guns, the handheld gun and wrist guns, which both of them can plug into these holes on his arms. And I don't think these are too compatible with the blast effects, which sucks, man. Like I wish they kept the gimmick of the whole blast effect thing to post the WFC, but it sucks. I can excuse them not having the bumps on the figure just so that you don't have to do diorama. I get it; it's probably a aesthetic thing, but I wish they bring back blast effects. Or at least keep them make them at least compatible with the smaller figures. Now, these two can combine together to make into for storage, or at least for at least for storage. And they can also be stored in that way for the vehicle mode. You also have another accessory which essentially is a uses but at this point, and it's just Energon X. Now, yeah, Legacy Year 1 had this sort of storyline going on along with it, and it's just these Energon weapon things, which each character that came released in Legacy Year 1 had Energon weapons, which you would combine together or something. I don't know what they were supposed to be. They basically abandoned this like in the third wave, I think. This after Cybertron Metroplex release. But yeah, if you want to get skits, at least maybe try to get him second hand without the X. Because I don't think he even can combine it with anything. He cannot combine it with the weapons, as we will see in the vehicle mode, but other than that, it sucks. Right, with that out of the way, let's see how he poses. So let's begin here. Let's take a look at the articulation. So, I'm gonna go this way, go for almost 360, just, yeah, can't turn 360, but you have to move the arm a bit. No, this one can, no, the head can go up and go up that far and go down that far. Can rotate, so forth. The windows are on the hinges, so they go like this. Now we got an elbow right here. Can rotate the whole thing. This was used for transformation. Right here, the hand can swivel as well, like so. Now here, just to do the waist swivel. Right here, you got the swivel as well. Then this one can close and open. This one can go like this. Now we can go this far and go that far. That's good. Here he is with Cordova, Deluxe 86 Bumblebee, Deluxe Trailbreaker, Voyager's S86 Thundercracker, Rita Fallen, and Commander Jetfire. Now the transform skids, you have to do, first things you gotta do is untap the chest from up, like so. Now, here this whole waist has to go in and like so. And make sure it goes in all the way. I think that'll be okay. Yeah, that's okay. There we go. Down here. Can tap the both of these in. That's like so. We'll take it here on hairs out. Move the black boots things. Right, now for up. Rotate this in. Press this out. There. This one in. Now you shove this in like so. And make sure this one, make sure it's plugged in. There we go. Other side plugged in. And so we close. And there you go. Here's skin is Van mode. Here we have the vehicle mode, which is a Honda City Turbo, which I think is probably a hatchback. This car was very popular in Japan back in the 80s. I think the one thing I find interesting about this car is the fact that it comes with a small motorized scooter, which I actually hate that this car was only sold in Japan. Like, you get a car and a scooter with it. Pretty good bargain if you ask me. Now, this car was pretty accurate even without the license, which I think is pretty interesting what international copyright laws are. Like, you can do the preserved car, but as long as you don't do the logos or other defining features, you're golden. Heck, same argument for 3P, except for some companies. Looking at you, Ferrari. Segway over, let's continue on. So this is the car mode that appeared in Cardo, most famously the sexy wash down panel devourable comics, which is where skids had the most use in G1 era. This and the IDW comics. We don't talk about the other guy. Let's just forget about him. So, as said before, he has an accurate car mode. One thing I'm impressed about this mode is the fact that blue paint tabs are not consistent between the clear plastic and the solid plastic, but it's close. But you still notice the differences. Again, it's not something that can be easily fixed. That's fine. Now, in terms of the tires, the figure the front ones are pretty unique, as only half the tires are turning, whereas the backs are double tires. Reason why they probably did this due to them being the shoulders, which I find odd as there's a pin on the shoulders, but it's not connected to the tires, but the moving part of the tires are connected to its back, which why? Like, why even go the extra mile to have the entire tire be moving thing? Like, wouldn't it be called as a budget thing, as this is more expensive than a normal tire, where whatever, in terms of weapon storage, you can put the axe and guns together, plug them on top of the roof. You know what I said back in the review, yeah, it's the hot rod typical weapon storage thing. Which, whatever, like, you got no space inside car mode to store them inside. Yeah, that's all I can talk about the car mode anyway. It's a bit boring. Moving on to size comparisons. Here he is with Cordova, Deluxe 86 Bumblebee, Deluxe Trailbreaker, Voyager's S86 Thundercracker, Rita Fallen, and Commander Jetfire. Overall, Skids is a fine figure. There's nothing interesting or of note with this guy. Observe the whole clear plastic thing on his doors and his backpack. But to go back to the question was at the beginning of this review, I think he's a pretty good entry level figure for generations. He's got decent articulation, simple transformation, cute armor, but those clear plastic pieces are make him a time bomb. So maybe it's not even a good entry level figure due to the clear plastic, but the next video that I'll be covering might be a better candidate. Anyway, if I were to rank this guy, skids is a 6 out of 10. Overall farmers something to be careful with, but do some decent poses. Get them on sale or at least for a less than retail price. Well, that's the end of this review. See you next time. Stay tuned.